So I just drove a Versa SR. I wanted to drive these back to back and review them just to go over the differences in features. Drivability is going to be identical, but you have a sport mode here, and I showed that earlier. So in sport mode here, I feel like you really don't get that much of a power difference, and I really just don't like the strain sound that you get under hard acceleration. So I probably would never use the sport mode. It's just easier to put my foot down and accelerate when I need to. So the normal drive for me is better, and then when you're done putting your foot to the floor, it's not still revving high. But it's there if you like doing that for whatever reason. I just don't feel a big enough difference in power to justify it. I will say though, in the normal mode, this gets up rather quickly, and it's because the CVT is so smart. You don't have to worry about shift points or anything. So put my foot down, and then my foot's still the same position, slowly let off, and it just gets to that more economical, I guess, rev point there for the CVT. But I said earlier that I wanted to compare this to the SR, and I feel like the SR is one of the best bargains out, because I think this one's stickered at $20,755, and the one that I just did a review on, the SR, was less than 22 grand. And even if it was 25 grand, I still go with the SR because you get so much more. You get LED headlamps, you get the intelligent cruise, just a more upscale feeling and looking cabin overall, as in terms of how the radio stacked up and everything. But for people who, a lot of buyers in this segment, they'd give up all of those features to save an extra $20 a month in payment, and that's what this car here is going to be for. If you can't see yourself paying over $400, even if it's $415 for much more, you rather pay $399.99, then you'll get this SV, because it pretty much does everything in terms of just everyday usability that the SR does. And specifically if you're on a fixed income or something like that, you don't care about all that extra stuff that you didn't grow up with or whatever. You just want what you need. You need transportation that gets good gas mileage and is easy to connect to Bluetooth. Like my granny, she's one of those people who would not spend a dime more than what she wants to spend, even if it was the difference between her having cloth and leather or sunroof. She'd be like, no, I'm not paying $399, or I'm not paying $400.01. I'm not paying any more than $400, and that would be her. So like I said, if you're one of those people, this will pretty much be the deciding factor between this and an SR, in my opinion, because again, you get so much more with the SR. And you get, like, it's a lot. So the leather wrap steering wheels in the SR, the updated infotainment, heated seats, automatic climate controls. But again, if you don't care about that, it doesn't really matter. But enough about comparing the trim levels. Ride here is pretty nice, and it's gonna be a little better, I think, just because the SR has 17s, this SV has 16s, and I can feel a pretty big difference in terms of the ride quality. Again, it's not necessarily smooth, but it's a good solid ride. And again, I just like the drive mode better, just the normal drive, as opposed to the sport mode, because the sport mode just, it feels so strained. But we will go ahead and put our foot into this, not all the way, but pretty far. And I will say you have to get up there to get this baby going. I wish I'd had the rev or the tachometer up so y'all could see. I'm flying, I need to slow down. But overall, sound acoustics for this kind of vehicle, pretty good. Hearing a little bit of wind noise, but it's a $20,000 car. I can't really expect it to sound like a Mercedes in here. And the radio will pretty much tune all of that out, which the radio, I think you get, or at least you used to be able to get, I thought, an optional Bose sound system or something like that in the highest Versa trim level. Otherwise, somebody like me would upgrade the speakers, maybe put a DSP in there. But for most people, the sound system in this is going to sound like a $20,000 car sound system, and it'll be good enough. Now, I will say driving, I mean, it's simple enough. I wouldn't race anybody in this or try and cut somebody off, but you do have enough passing power, I think, for most, for 99% of the situation, 100% depending on how you drive. But it does accelerate, it does stop. You can get it back up to speed. It's not like you have to do anything extra. You just might have to put your foot into it, because these are not meant to be fast, these are meant to be efficient. But road noise from the tires is pretty minimal. If I listen for it, I can hear it, but nothing that bothers me. Wind noise, again, you can hear it, but nothing that's gonna bother me because I'm getting a $20,000 car. And again, pretty easy to drive. Nothing special going on here. The steering makes sense. The gas pedal and brake pedal feel good for what kind of vehicle this is. And I like the Versas because they're good on gas and they don't do much anything else. And I mean to say that for most people, this does everything they need, nothing extra. You don't have several drive modes to choose from. You're not going to need another drive mode. It's efficient, it's easy to drive, it has pretty good room in here. And again, the biggest thing is it's a 20 grand car, and you get what you get for $20,000. So nothing to be disappointed about, and a great option if you're in this segment. But this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2023 Nissan Versa SV.